We live in an era of technological innovation. New technologies appear on the market almost daily, and they often fade just as fast. What drives this innovation, and what determines which technologies emerge and flourish, and which fail and fade into obscurity? Over the course of this presentation, we will explore this phenomenon through the lens of one specific case study. We will examine the emergence and success of two technologies, Microsoft SharePoint and Google Apps. Let's begin by reviewing the foundation for our analysis. There are 6 general forces that influence emerging technologies and help to govern the success or failure of a given innovation. Sometimes an innovation emerges as a result of incremental evolution. Small, incremental advances in a technology propel it forward. While this is the most commonly recognized form of change, it's not always the most powerful. When a company or group of companies invest in a specific technology, a situation known as increasing returns can arise. In this situation, each technological advancement fuels the next advancement in a ratchet-like progression. A Red Queen phenomenon occurs when 2 or more competitors begin competing directly with one another at a fast rate, often outpacing all other competitors. The ratcheting effect that emerges in a Red Queen phenomenon propels innovation at a furious pace. In other instances, innovations seem to explode onto the scene out of nowhere. These disruptive technologies represent an alternative to conventional technologies, and they often appeal to non-consumers of the technology in the first place. Eventually, exposure and adoption reach a tipping point, and the disruptive technology supplants the older technology. Temporality also has an impact on innovation. Some new innovations are actually successful because they evoke an experience from the past. The rekindling of these past experiences can make a significant innovation highly attractive. Other advancements are fueled by the imagining of science fiction writers. Writers, particularly those who pay attention to the historical trends of technological advancement, can ignite creativity in inventors and researchers, facilitating new innovations. Examining the emergence of technological innovations through the lens of these 6 forces is useful for understanding how and why specific technologies emerge, diffuse, and become obsolete. A second useful tool for understanding the rise and fall of technological innovation is McLuhan's tetrad. The first quadrant, enhancement, describes what new functionality or experience the technology introduces. The second quadrant describes what the technology made obsolete. The third quadrant represents the experience that the technology rekindles from the past, while the fourth and final quadrant represents how the technology establishes the context for its own obsolescence. We will refer back to these 2 models in order to help shape our analysis. We now turn our attention to the 2 technologies our case study is focusing on, Microsoft SharePoint and Google Apps. SharePoint is a web-based content and document management application platform developed by Microsoft. The technology was first introduced in 2001 as a vehicle for organizations to maintain and manage their information. SharePoint is designed as a central application platform for common organizational tasks and processes. Users can create, access, and manage a suite of documents and other files. The application houses those files and provides a security layer that tracks rights, access, and versioning. SharePoint also includes a host of other features such as social tools, enterprise search capabilities, process integration, workflow automation, and the ability to host custom-developed applications. SharePoint's success is tied directly to 2 of the forces influencing technology and innovation: evolutionary technologies and increasing returns. The platform represents an augmentation of other applications. Businesses already using Microsoft applications valued the integration of those applications under the umbrella of SharePoint. It was an evolutionary technology in the sense that it augmented existing applications, specifically the Microsoft Office suite that has become so ubiquitous in corporate infrastructure. In addition, competition with other technologies such as Oracle, FileNet, and LiveLink spurred some advancement and innovation, although it never amounted to a Red Queen phenomenon. Science fiction has had little or no impact on this innovation, nor did it rely heavily on rhymes of history. While it did rekindle some aspects of a small physical office space, that was not the driving force behind its emergence. Finally, it would be inaccurate to call SharePoint disruptive, especially given that there were a large number of other similar platforms available on the market. Returning to McLuhan's tetrad, SharePoint clearly represented an enhancement in terms of the increased functionality and integration of different applications and different individuals within a company. In the case of Western Governors University, one software engineer noted that the appeal of the application laid in its ability to standardize processes and documentation. SharePoint, along with similar technologies, made obsolete the need to email documents back and forth between individuals or use elaborate file names to denote document versions. The ease of storing and retrieving content from a central repository helped to ensure that the most current version was always readily available and maintained. It also helped reduce iterations in the storage of content on local devices. In some sense, SharePoint rekindled the filing cabinet. In days gone by, individuals would retrieve and work on documents stored in a physical filing cabinet, which helped ensure that all information was easily accessible. Yet, SharePoint also set the foundations for its own demise. The way in which SharePoint's centralized workflow promoted increased efficiency while also shining a light on the value of direct interaction between individuals. At WGU, most employees are virtual, so while SharePoint improves standardization, access, and versioning, it also evoked a desire for more collaboration. James Myers, an instructional designer at WGU, noted that while SharePoint was a great leap forward, it did not lend itself to real-time collaboration. Hence, the scene was set for a change. Unlike SharePoint, Google Apps is not really a platform as much as a set of independent, customizable web applications that can be implemented under a custom domain. It includes several web applications with similar functionality to traditional Office applications such as word processing, spreadsheets, wikis, blogs, calendars, and even voice over Internet services. Evolutionary technologies and disruptive technologies perhaps best describe the emergence of Google Apps. The original release of Google Docs was highly disruptive to conventional Office applications, especially because of its web-based nature. As the application became more and more popular, it evolved and began incorporating more and more functionality, as well as new applications. One might expect that the competition between SharePoint and Google would result in a Red Queen, but to date, no such ratcheting has occurred, although SharePoint is certainly not a dead technology and that may still occur in the future. A case might be made, however, for the influence of increasing returns on the evolution of Google Apps, but at this early phase of its history, that remains to be seen. Finally, neither science fiction nor rhymes of history appear to have had much influence on the emergence of Google Apps, although the original premise for the technology was certainly visionary. Moving on to McLuhan's tetrad, it becomes clear that the enhancement that Google Apps brought with it centered on the ease of use, flexibility, and real-time collaboration. The document applications in particular allow multiple users to view documents simultaneously with the ability to see changes in real time. Our resident instructional designer at WGU perhaps put it best when he described the system as highly user-friendly and flexible. The independent nature of the applications in Google Apps made it obsolete for the need for an elaborate enterprise platform which requires continuous maintenance and is highly cost-prohibitive. The cloud-based nature of Google Apps is also appealing to small and medium-sized companies who struggle with maintaining and predicting server usage. Paul Oatman, a software engineer at WGU, noted that the external nature of the application makes it far easier to maintain and remain flexible. Google Apps reintroduced the concept of collaboration. While individuals used to sit together in a room and collaborate on a piece of content, Google Apps allows users from all around the world to work together and collaborate in real time. Yet, while new technologies present new solutions, they also open up one's imagination to new ideas. The real-time collaboration that Google Apps allows also establishes the foundation for the next innovation. Already, users are expressing a desire for more integration and an increased sense of presence and proximity as they work together. Microsoft SharePoint and Google Apps represent a wonderful case study in the emergence, diffusion, and obsolescence of technology in the 21st century. While Microsoft SharePoint appeared to have a lock on enterprise platforms, Google Apps disrupted the playing field, presenting a very different alternative that appears to be supplanting SharePoint. Both technologies provided significant enhancements to users and made obsolete some core principles that seem to be entrenched in our way of life. And both technologies opened up new opportunities for the next generation of technology. Will another technology emerge to supplant both SharePoint and Google? It's hard to say, but as we look to the future, it is at least evident that users are looking for technologies that facilitate higher levels of interaction, engagement, and presence. Perhaps the next generation of applications will harness the power of video games and virtual worlds. Or perhaps there is a science fiction writer out there right now re-envisioning how we interact with one another, and his or her work will inspire an inventor somewhere to imagine something greater.